everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got some Saturday night short track racing here on the channel from Richmond International Raceway in Richmond, Virginia for the Miller Genuine Draft 400. Let's get to the starting grid here for the race. On the pole, in the 4 car, Ernie Irvin. On your outside pole, in the 5 car, Ricky Rudd. Hi, Tim. Starting third in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac for the Miller Genuine Draft 400, Rusty Wallace. Starting fourth, Alan Kowicki in the 7, starting fifth. Allison in the 28, starting sixth, is Hensley in the 66. Starting seventh is Labonte in the 94. Starting eighth is Bodine in the 26. Starting next to him is his brother Jeffrey Bodine in the 15. Starting 10th is Schrader in the 25. Starting 11th is Earnhardt in the 3. Starting 12th is Trickle in the 8. Starting 13th is Martin in the 6. Starting 14th is DW Waltrip in the 17. Starting 15th is Gant in the 33. Starting 16th is Jarrett 18. Starting 17th is Kyle Petty in the 42. Starting 18th is Shepard in the 21. Starting 19th is Mast in the 1. Starting 20th is Cope in the 10. Starting 21st is Dollenbach Jr. In the 16. Starting 22nd is Sauter in the 89. Starting 23rd is little brother Michael Waltrip in the 30. Starting 24th is Never Nervous Jeff Purvis. Starting 25th is Elliott in the 11. Starting 26th is Musgrave in the 55. Starting 27th is Jimmy Smut Means in the 52. Starting 28th is Hutch Strickland in the 12. Starting 29th is Marlin in the 22. And the King, as y'all know if you've been watching this replay, this is his final season and last race at Richmond. That's why he's a TV driver. The King himself, Richard Petty. And this replay, right now it's Kowicki, Gant, and Elliott's the top 3 in the points right now. If you're talking about my replay, Tim. Starting 11th is Hamilton in the 68. Starting 32nd is Little in the 9. Starting 33rd is Jimmy Horton in the 32. Starting 34th is Marcus in the 71. Oh, you're welcome, Tim. And starting 35th, shotgun to the field, is Stanley Smith in the 49. Let's get down to the racetrack. For the dropping of the green flag is Ernie Irvin will lead us there. And here's the first turn of the Miller Genuine Draft 400. It's a 30-turn race. Short track, short distance. Here we go. And right away, we got a duel, and it's going to be the 2 cars in the middle group. So you got Earnhardt and Schrader going after the Bodine boys. First, Earnhardt going after Brett Bodine. Earnhardt gets him, puts Brett in a bad situation early in the race here. He's pissed off already, wondering what the hell Earnhardt's doing crazy shit already. Here's Kenny Schrader in that Kodiak Bear going after Jeffrey Bodine. I don't know if you want to mess with Jeffrey this early in the race. He does. He gets by him and puts Jeffrey in a bad spot. Let's see if the Bodine brothers can survive here. There's no modifications to escape, so Brett needs a 9. And he barely gets it and holds on to that Ford. And can Jeffrey Bodine and his Motorcraft Ford do the same thing here? And he needs a 9 also. And he gets it. They hang on to the cars and only lose 2 spots. Alrighty, we go to turn number 2 now. I wouldn't want those 2 right behind me if I was Earnhardt and Schrader. Turn 2. And we got a top group of Reflex in the top group. And here comes Terry Labonte after swerving Ernie Irvin in that Kodak film car. And it takes a 3 to beat him. That's it. 3, 4, 5. And we lose a dice to start this race. It ain't a race until I drop a dice. Let's roll again here. And we got a 4, 5. So Terry Labonte gets the lead here on turn number 2 from Ernie Irvin. Puts that Sunoco Oldsmobile up front. And here comes Davey Allison. Takes a 6 to beat Terry. And the wrong 6, 6-4. Alan Kowicki's got 2 chances at him. And a 2-1, no, but he gets a second chance. And a 5-1, no. Here comes Rusty trying to get that sponsorship car up there in this race. Miller would love to see that car out in front. And a 2-6. Rusty gets the job done. I don't know if the fix is in, folks. The fix may be in. This might be rigged. The 2 car gets the lead on the second turn. In the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac for the Miller Genuine Draft 400. But it only takes a 4 to get him. And here comes Ricky Rudd in the Tide Machine. And a 5-5. And Ricky doesn't get him. Ricky's only got 4 gas pedals. Like I say, is this rigged? Because Miller paid him off here. We go to turn 3. And we got another duel. This time it'll be the 6 car in the middle. And Rick Mass says he ain't going to try it with only 3 gas pedals. But Morgan Shepherd says, what the heck? He's going after Jeffrey Bodine. Jeffrey Bodine's going to feel like a bumper car here, everybody coming after him. And Morgan gets him, drops him back to 18th and puts him in a bad spot. Let's see if he can avoid wrecking again. It takes a 9. And he does, but he ain't too happy. After being in 9th place, he's back to 18th as we go to turn number 4. And we got a bottom group of Smart. Who's Smart back here? First driver to Smart's Dave Marcus in that 71 car. And a 3-5-5. And he's going to get Dale Jarrett, go from 34th up to 16th. Here comes Jimmy I Come a Courtin' Horton. And a 5-1, ain't getting it done. He only has 2 gas. The next Smart driver is Ted Musgrave. And a 4-6-3. And he gets Jeffrey Bodine. Jeffrey Bodine is going back in a flash. He's back to 26 now as Ted Musgrave gets up to 18th. Here's Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. See if he can get up there. A 5-3-4. And he's going to get Mark Martin, go from 25th up to 13th. Here comes little Mikey. Michael Waltrip in that Pennzoil Pontiac with a 1-5-6. And he's going to get Kyle Petty, go from 23rd up to 17th. And Wally Dallenbach Smart in that 16 Keystone car with a 1-6-3. And he's going to get Rick Mass, go from 21st up to 19th. And here comes Derry Cope, the last Smart driver back here. And with a 5, he's not going nowhere. On to turn number 5, folks. And we got another duel. And this time it is the 5 cars in the middle group. And that's the 2 guys that just got up here, Michael and Dave. Dave says he's satisfied. Little Mikey's not. He's going after that other Bodine boy. And he needs a 4 to pull it off. And he doesn't get it. And Mikey needs a 7 not to wreck. And he barely gets it. Hangs on to that Pontiac. As the Bodines are getting tired of being effed with. He put a nice little move and put Mikey close to the wall, made him back off. So we go to turn number 6. And we got a middle group of control and a problem. First problem we've had today. Here comes Ted Musgrave with control. A 5 ain't going to get her done for Ted. Here comes Michael. And a 5's not going to get it for Mikey. He needed a 4. Harry Gantz coming in that Skull Bandit Oldsmobile. A 162. And he's going to get Ernie Irvin, believe it or not, and go from 15th up to 7th. And the pole sitter's dropping back. Here comes DW with a 463. And Harry's going to hold him off, though. Bill Elliott with double control could get the lead here on turn number 6. A 163. Harry holds him off. Let's get a second chance to get up there in the top group, though, with a 255. And Jimmy Hensley's going to hold him off with a chip. Here comes Dick Trickle with a 5. Ain't getting it done with a 5. Here comes Brett Bodine with a 335. And he's going to get Alan Kowicki and go from 11th up to 4th. Old Brett Bodine ain't taking no time. He's getting tired of being beat around back here in the middle of the pack. Here comes Earnhardt with control and a chip. And we got a 345. And he's going to get Davey without using his chip. And now let's see who has the problem. It's old Stanley Smith has the problem. A 63. And that's going to be an unscheduled pit stop. He'll roll for repair. And we are in the beginning of the race. It takes a 3 for him to stay in the race. And he doesn't. So the 49 car started 35th. And that's where he'll finish 35th. All righty. Our first pit stop of the race. It's going to be the middle group. And Davey and Ken Schrader is going to have a pit violation. So everybody's going to move up. These two are going to go back to 33rd and 34th respectively. And then we'll see who can get some chips in this middle group. All righty, let's grab a handful here. See what happens. First up is Morgan Shepherd. Can he get a second chip? Oh, I guarantee you. Here we go. First up is Morgan. He needs a 7 to get a chip. And the Woods brothers barely get her done, but they do. Morgan's got 2 chips looking pretty. Wicki needs a 10. He gets her done. Dick Trickle needs a 7. He doesn't get it done. Bill needs a 10. He gets it done. DW needs an 8. He gets it done. Ernie Irvin needs an 8. He gets her done. Let's grab a few more chips here. Next up is Dave Marcus. He needs a 5. And he doesn't get it. Mikey needs a 6. Doesn't get it. Ted Musgrave needs a 6. He doesn't get it. And poor Wally Dallenbach needs a 6. He does get it. Jack Rouse Keystone Crew did a good job for him. And Coat needs a 6. Doesn't get it. And last one's Rick Mass. And he needs a 6. And barely gets it. So we'll move Earnhardt up here in the top group. Move him up. And then we'll move the people up in the middle group. And let's see who has a shot at getting Rusty out of the pits here. All righty. Okay. The 5 position is going to get it. Jimmy Hensley gets that Trop Arctic car up front for Raquel Yarborough. How about that? The 66 car takes the lead here on turn 7. We're on to turn number 8, folks. And we got a top group of Reflex in the top group. And it only takes a 3 to get Hensley. Here comes Handsome Harry Gant. And 2-1 doesn't get it done. Rusty trying to get that lead back from Jimmy. As we lose a dice here. And a 1-3. He's going to get her done. Rusty gets that Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac back up front here on turn number 8. Okay. And now Terry Labonte, and it takes a 4 or 5 or 6 to get Rusty. A 2-3, he holds him off. Here comes Ricky Rudd with Reflex. And a 5-1, he holds him off. Earnhardt has Reflex and a chip. And a 1-5, he gets Rusty without using his chip and puts the 3 car up front on turn number 8. All righty, turn number 9. And we got a middle group of heat. First time we've had heat this race. First up is going to be Dick Trickle's got heat. And a 2-4-4. And he's going to get Brett Bodine and go from 15th up to 5th. Nice driving by Dick Trickle. Rick Mass has got heat and a chip. And a 3-5-2. And he's going to need to use his chip and gets Hensley, who was just leading this race, now back to 14th. Here comes Mr. Dollenbach. He's got heat and a chip. And he's got a problem. Wally in that Keystone beer car has a problem, a 36. A vibration. He'll drop down to 20th. At least he's still in the race and at the beginning of the bottom group. And Greg Sachs, that's Ernie Irvin, trying to get back up front, our pole sitter with a chip, a 4-6-2, and he'll have to use his chip to get Handsome Harry. It goes from 12th up to 7th. DW's got heat. And a 1-2-4. And he'll need to use his chip to get Ricky Rudd, his teammate. Goes from 11th up to 3rd, knocking Ricky back out of the top 10. Bill don't have heat, neither does Kowicki. Morgan Shepherd has heat and 2 chips. And a 1-5-6, and he's not going to have to use either one of them chips. And he goes from 8th up to 6th. And now we'll move everybody up here in the middle group and see who's going to move up in the bottom group. First up is Mr. Sauter. He's not going up there with a 6. How about Cal Petty? Yes, he is. Cal Petty will go to 19th. Sauter will drop back. And Wally will take over 20th. So we make it to turn 10, 100 miles done here at Richmond International Speedway. Turn 10. And we got a top group of star. Who's the stars up here? Well, Ernie Irvin's got double star. It takes a 5 or 6 to get Earnhardt. And a 4 or 5. He gets him. Earnhardt uses his chip, holds him off the first time. Ernie's got a second chance at him. A 5-1, not this time. Morgan Shepherd with 2 chips and star. And a 3-1, he doesn't get him, so he'll burn one of his chips and get the lead. And how about that? The Woods brothers up front here at Richmond. And they're from Stewart, Virginia. Their home track here. That in Martinsburg. And the 21 car is out in front here on turn 10. And here comes Terry Labonte. It takes a 5 or 6 to get Shepard. And a 4-5, he'll use his chip and hold Terry off. And that was the last driver with the star quality. So we go to turn number 11. And we got another duel. And that'll be the 6th car. That's Ernie Irvin going after Rusty. So it takes a 5 for Ernie to pull it off. And he barely does. He puts Rusty in a bad spot. But he gets a chip. See if Rusty can hold on here. He needs a 10 to escape. And he does. As we go to turn number 12. And we got a middle group of Heat. Heat in the middle group. First up is Cal Petty. 5-2-6. And he's going to get DW and go from 19th up to 3rd. Here comes Brett Bodine in that Quaker State Ford with a 3-5-5. And he's going to get Earnhardt and go from 14th up to 6th. And here comes Mr. Hensley with a 1-2-3. And Kyle Petty holds him off. Here comes Handsome Harry Ganton, the Skull Bandit, with a 6, ain't getting her done. Ricky Rudd and the Tide Machine with a 5. He's only got a 4. He ain't getting it done. And last one with Heat in the top middle group is Rick Mass. And he's not going nowhere with a 6. On to turn number 13. That'll be a middle group of Control. Control in the middle group. DW trying to get back up front with a 1-3-2. And Terry holds him off. Derek Copen up Pure Later. Chevy trying to get up there. Not with a 6, he's not. Here comes Ted Musgrave in that Jaspers car. A 1-6-3. And he gets Rusty. Rusty's dropping back all of a sudden here in the Miller Genuine Draft 400. He goes back to 17th as Musgrave goes up to 7th. Michael Waltrip trying to get up front. Oh, and Mikey rolls 555s. What kind of problems poor Mike will have? 12, that's not good. He's got a cooling problem. And Mikey is a D or C? He's a D. And we are in the middle part of the race. He needs a 3 to stay in this race. And he gets it. Michael Waltrip, they get that cooling problem fixed. He'll drop back to 34th. Here comes Earnhardt with a 6, ain't going nowhere. Here comes Jimmy Hensley. A 1-5-6. He's going to take 6 away from Brett Bodine. Bodine drops back to 13th. Here comes Handsome Harry. And a 5-1. He ain't going to get it with that 1. Ricky Rudd with a 3-4-3. And Dick Trickle barely holds him off. Here comes Bill Elliott with double control and a chip. Could get the lead here. A 1-1-6. He gets Ernie. Ernie's going to make him burn his chip to get him. So Bill goes from 10th up to 2nd. And now he's got a shot at the lead, folks. And it takes a 3 to get Shepard. The Woods brothers. A 5-3. Bill pulls it off. Goes from 10th up to the lead. Here on turn 13. Lucky number 13 for Bill. Gets that Budweiser car up front. How ironic would that be if the Budweiser car wins the Miller Genuine Draft 400? Here we go. Alan Kulwicki with the chip and control. 5, 4, 6. He's going to get Dick Trickle without using his chip. Goes up to 5th. And last but not least, Rick Masson at Copenhagen. Number 1 with a 4, 1, 4, 6. He's going to make Allen burn that chip to stay there. And we go to turn 14. We got to see who moves up here to the middle group after Michael had that cooling problem. Exactly, Tim. Yep. He's running like the silver fox, just waiting his time. I love David Pearson and Bill Elliott. And Wally's going to move up to 19th. Everybody else moves up here in the bottom group. We still got 34 cars running. You got Elliott in the lead, Shepard second, Kyle Petty third, Labonte fourth, Kulwicki fifth, Hensley sixth, Musgrave seventh, Mass eighth, Trickle ninth, and Ernie, the pole setter, 10th. So we go to turn number 14. And we got a top group of Smart. Who's Smart up here? Takes a 6 to get Bill. First one up is Ted Musgrave. And a 4-1 ain't getting it done. Alan Kulwicki in that Hooters car. He's smart. And smart enough to get the lead from Bill. Goes from 5th up to 1st. Here on turn number 14. Takes a 6 to get Allen. Terry Labonte smart. And a 5-5, not smart enough. Kyle Petty double smart. Gets 2 chances at Allen. And he rolls triples. Kyle Petty's having a rough year on the problems he have. He's got a battery charging problem. He'll drop back to 20th. At least he stays in the race. And at the front of the bottom group, Morgan Shepherd trying to get that Woods Brothers Sitco Ford back up front. And he sure will with a 3-6. How about that? Woods Brothers are mighty damn happy right now. Morgan's running a heck of a race. Alrighty, we'll see who moves up here to the top group and middle group. First up is Rick Mast. He doesn't get it done. How about Trickle? Trickle does. He goes from 9th up to 7th. Let's see if Mr. Jimmy Sauter can get up here in the middle group. He needs a 3. Doesn't get it. Never nervous Jeff Purvis. He gets it done with a 2, and that's what he has on that card. It's only 2 gas pedals. So Sauter will move back to 21st as Kyle Petty takes over 20th, and we go to turn 15, folks. Cross flags are out halfway through this race, folks. At the halfway mark, here we go. And we got a top group of Control. And they're going after Mr. Shepard, and they need a 4 to get him. And first up is Dick Trickle. 6-4. That ain't happening with a 6. Ted Musgrave. And a 1-4. He gets it done. That Jasper's car is up front. How about that, folks? That Ford's running good here. Turn number 15. 55 up front. Here comes Mr. Hensley. It takes a 5 or a 6 to beat Mr. Musgraves here. And we got a 3-6. Jimmy Hensley puts his Ford, Tropartic Ford, up front for the second time today, or this evening, I should say. Here comes Awesome Bill from Dawsonville with 2 chances at Jimmy, and it takes a 4 to get Jimmy. And a 6-5. Bill needed a second chance. And a 4-4. He gets her done on the second one. And Awesome Bill's back up front. Here comes Terry Labonte, takes a 6 to get Bill. And a 4-6. Terry says, there you go. The Sunoco Oldsmobile's up front now. A lot of lead changes here. Sure. Last one's Alan Kowicki, and he takes a 6 to get Mr. Labonte. And he gets her done. They're just swamping the lead like crazy. You think it's the last lap, folks. Bound to have a wreck with this kind of action. So Alan takes over the lead. We go to turn 16. Maybe they're racing for halfway money. Yeah, that's for darn sure, Tim. You're correct. Nobody's holding that lead. That is no lie. Yeah, it is unbelievable. Yep, crazy. Like I say, if they're racing like that, you know an accident is just waiting to happen. Here we go, turn number 16. And we got a bottom group for Star in the bottom group. First up is Michael Waltrip with a 155. And he's going to get his brother. No brotherly love here. Look at Mikey going from 17th, 34th up to 17th, knocking DW in the rear with the gear. I tell you, no brotherly love. Here comes Kenny Schrader in that Kodiak Bear car with a 224. And it's a Star 3-4. Needs a 4. He only gets a 3. So Rudd's going to the rear with the gear. Ken Schrader, no teammate love here. That Hendricks boys are battling each other. And Kenny goes from 33rd up to 10th and knocks the Todd machine back. Sure, it's a dog-eat-dog world here. Davey Allison's double star could get back up in the top group. Here we go. A 1-3-3. And Star, he gets Earnhardt. Goes from 32nd up to 13th. And now, like I say, he's got a shot at getting in the top group. And not with the 6, he's not. Here comes Dale Jarrett. Interstate Batteries. First time we talked about him. We're out of focus. There we go. That's better. All righty, here we go with Dale Jarrett. Not going nowhere with the 5. Bobby Hamilton, Country Time Lemonade, a 165. He gets Never Nervous. Jeff Purvis goes up from 28th up to 19th. First time we talked about the King this evening. See if we can get him up to the middle group in his last race at Richmond. Not with a 6, he's not. Sterling Marlin. First we talked about Sterling with a 253. And he's going to get Derek Cope. Goes from 26th up to 16th. Here comes Hut Strickland. Yeah, exactly. They sure have, Tim. They haven't been doing much action back here at all, have they? Yeah. Okay, here comes Hut. And that Ray Bestis breaks with a 4-2-6. And he's going to get Kenny Schrader. He don't stay up to 10th very long as Hut goes up there. Drops Kenny back to 25th. Jeffrey Bodine trying to get out of the rear with the gear with a 4-1-6. And he's going to get Rick Masson go from 23rd up to 8th after being beat around at the beginning of this race. And last one was Stars. Kyle Petty just had that problem with a 1-2-5. And he's going to get Harry Gant and go from 20th up to 11th, knocking Handsome Harry back to 20th. And we make our pit stops here on turn 17. Let's see what happens here. We got a middle group of 2 and 3 switching spots. See how many of these crews back here can get their drivers out. Just a little over halfway here. Almost a third, 2/3 of the way done this race. 30 turn race. 300 miles, 400 laps. Here we go with Jeffrey Bodine. He needs a 7 to get a chip. Barely gets her done. Good job by Bud Moore and the crew. Ernie needs an 8. Gets her done. Here's brother Brett in that Kenny Bernstein car. He gets it done with a 6. Davey needs a 10. He gets it done with a 7. Hut needs a 6. That ain't happening. Cal Petty needs a 9. He gets it done. Dave Marcus needs a 5. He doesn't get it done. Rusty needs a 9. He doesn't get it done with a 10. Sterling needs an 8. And Junior Johnson and that Maxwell 22 crew does their job. Here comes that Pennzoil car. And 11 ain't getting her done. Wally needs a 6. No, not with a 9. Last but not least is Mr. Hamilton. Needs a 6, and he gets it done with a 5. Alrighty. We'll move everybody up here and see if anybody can beat Alan Kowicki out of the pits. And a 1-2. Terry Labonte gets the lead out of the pits here. Turn 17. 94 car back up in front. How's it going, Keith? It sure has, Tim, that's for sure. Oh, we're ready. Here we go, turn number 18. And we got another duel. That'll be the 5 car in the top group. Ted Musgrave says it's getting late. He's going after Alan Kowicki. It takes a 4 for him to get her done. And he doesn't. So take a 9 for him not to wreck. And he holds on to that Ford. We go on to turn number 19 now. And we got a bottom group of heat. Heat in the bottom group. First up is DW trying to get out of the bottom. DW is the last car still running here. Let's roll the right dice here. After that, make sure I got this right, was a 5, 5, 3 to make it an 8. And now let's roll the right dice. It might actually work here. A 1, 2, 3. And Davey's got to use his chip to hold DW off. Here comes his teammate Ricky Rudd in that Tide car with a 3, 2, 6. And this time he's going to get Davey and knock Davey back to 33rd. Davey just got out of the rear with the gear. Sure. Ricky goes back up there knocking on the top 10's door. Chad Little, first time we talked about Chad and that Melling number 9. Nothing runs like a deer. A 2, 6, 4. And he's going to get little Mikey and put that Ford up there in 18th. Michael back to 29th. And now here's Jeff Purvis, Never Nervous Purvis. And of course, he rolls a 6. Haven't talked about him all day except when he went from 20th up to 18th, or 19th rather. Here we go. What kind of problems Jeff have? A 31. He's got a handling problem, and it's too late in the race to fix it. Jeff will be the second car out of the race. He'll finish 34th. It's only 2 cars out, him and Smith. Here comes the King. Let's hope the King can get up there in his last race here at Richmond. A 2, 6, 4. And he's going to get Chad Little. Chad doesn't stay up there very long. Chad back to 27th, and the King up to 18th. Kenny Schrader trying to get up there. That Rick Hendricks Kodiak car, a 224. And he gets Brett Bodine, but he's got a chip to hold him off. Here's Rick Maston, another tobacco car, the Copenhagen car, with a 4, and I ain't getting it done. Here comes Mark Martin. First, we talked about Mark Martin all day. He's been back here just quietly riding around. He's got double heat. He could get in the top group, folks. Could get up in the top group with a 1-2-1. I don't think that's going to work. No, his own teammate holds him off. No, not teammate. Ricky Rudd holds him off, rather. He's got another shot, though. And this time a 5-4-5. And he's going to get Hutt and go from 22nd up to 15th. And the last car back here with heat is Harry Gant with a 1-2-5. And he's going to get Ricky. I jinxed old Ricky. And he goes up to 11th and knocking Ricky back to 20th. As we make it to turn 20. Yeah, old Ricky, he was doing well there for a minute, Keith. Now he's back to 20th. Here we go. Turn number 20. And we got a bottom group of Reflex in the bottom group. Reflex in the bottom group. First up again is DW. See if he can get out of here. Oh, triples. Triple twos for DW. Not his race. See what kind of problem he's got already being in last. He's got a battery problem. He'll just stay there. He'll just stay there. Here comes Davey. And that Haviland Ford, he's been like a yo-yo. A 3-2-6. And he gets Handsome Harry, knocking Harry back to 33rd and Davey up to 11th. Here comes Earnhardt. A 6 ain't getting it done. Here comes Dale Jarrett with Joe Gibbs Racing. A 2-3-6, 2-3-5. And Reflex, he gets Kyle Petty, but he's got a chip, holds him off. Got to move everybody up here. When Never Nervous Purvis dropped out. Alrighty. Here comes Jimmy. I come a courting with a 5, ain't going nowhere. Here comes Derek Cope with a 5, not going nowhere. Kenny Schrader with a 1-4-6. And poor Mark Martin doesn't stay in 15th long. I think that's where he was in 25th. I think he took that over from Kenny Schrader. Here comes Jimmy Smut Means. Haven't talked about him today. And a 3-1-4. And he gets Ernie Irvin, but Ernie's got a chip and burns it. Hut Strickland and that Bobby Allison car with a 3-4-2. And he's going to get Kenny. He's going to go from 22nd up to 15th. Here comes Mr. Sauter. Old Jim Sauter. Not with a 5. Here you go, Keith. Ricky Rudd with a shot to get up there. Oh, exactly. Here we go. A 2-3-4. And he's going to get Cal Petty. He's going to go from 20th up to 12th. And that is it for turn 20. 100 miles to go, folks. 10 more turns. Here we go, turn 21. And we got a duel. The 6th car in the top group is Trickle. He's going to go after Mr. Kowicki. He gets him. He puts Allen in a bad spot here late in the race. Allen needs a 9 not to wreck. And he does wreck. Oh my gosh, is he pissed off at Dick Trickle? And that Snickers Ford. Allen's in a bad shape here. We are late in the race. It'll take a 7 for him not to get back in, 7 or less to stay in this race. See if he can stay in the race. And Alan Kowicki is out of this race because of Dick Trickle just putting the freaking chrome horn to him going into turn 1. And he spins and gets collected. Sure. Alan Kowicki, 2 bad races in a row, is going to finish 33rd. Mr. Kowicki's pretty quiet, but I think he's going to have something to say to Dick Trickle after this race. Woo! And that'll bring out the caution, folks. First caution of the race. So everybody will just move up. Everybody moves up. And poor Alan Kowicki, only the 3rd car out of this race. So we got 32 cars still running. Terry Labonte in the lead. Now, with that move, Dick Trickle is up to 2nd. Hensley 3rd. Elliott 4th. Musgrave 5th. Shepard 6th. Jeffrey Bodine 7th. Ernie Irvin 8th. Brett Bodine 9th. Davey Allison rounding out the top 10 as we go to turn number 23 now. Green flag out as Terry Labonte leads us back. And we'll have a middle group of Star. Star in the middle group. Use the stars back here. First star is Kyle Petty in that mellow yellow Pontiac, a 134. And Bill holds him off just barely. Here comes his dad, the King, Richard Petty, with a 445, and he gets Ted Musgrave. How about that? The King, 17th up to 5th, cracks the top 10. Like to see that. Like to see the King up here in his last year. Here comes Dave Marcus with a 146, and the King doesn't stay there long as Dave gets him and goes from 16th up to 5th. Here comes Hutch Strickland. And a 2-3-1, that ain't going to happen. Bill holds him off. Here comes Bobby Hamilton with a chip. And a 5, he's going to need to use the chip. It's a 6. And Jeffrey Bodine is going to, well, first Bobby's going to use his chip, and then Jeffrey's going to use his to block him. Here comes Sterling Marlin with the chip. And a 5-6-5. And he's going to get Jeffrey Bodine without using his chip. Puts that Maxwell House Ford up in 7th. Here comes Ricky Keith with a 4-2-6. He gets Mr. Hensley and goes from 11th up to 3rd. Okay, here comes Davey. He's in, got 2 shots here. Yeah, Davey could get the lead. 6-1-4 ain't happening. He'll get another shot there at the top group. A 5-5-3, and Morgan barely holds him off. Here comes Brett Bodine with a 5. Not going to work. And here comes Ernie Irvin, our pole sitter, with 2 shots. Could get the lead here. Not with a 6, he's not. and a 5-5-6. He goes from 8th up to 6th, knocking Morgan out of the top group. So we make it to turn 24. And we got a top group of Star in the top group. Sterling Marlin with the chip. Takes a 6 to get Terry without using his chip. And a 1-4-1. He's going to need to use his chip. Sterling Marlin with the first lead of the race. He was quiet all race. Sneaking up there. Turn 24. Junior Johnson now with 2 cars in the top 5. Loving life here at Richmond. He got the leader, and he's got Bill in 4th. And here comes Mr. Ernie Irvin going after Sterling. 2 chances at him. It takes a 5 or 6 to get him. 1-2. He'll need the second chance. And a 6-2. He don't get him. Dave Marcus. 6-2. That ain't happening. As a matter of fact, poor Dave's got a problem with that 6. What kind of problems Dave got? He's got a clutch problem. And Dave will finish 32nd. They won't have enough time to fix that problem. So Dave Marcus out of the race. Finishes 32nd. Here comes Bill after his own teammate. Junior just don't want them to wreck each other. Again, takes a 5 or 6 to get him. 5-5. He gets her done. And the Junior Johnson crews switch spots here, and the Budweiser Ford's out in front in the Miller Genuine Draft 400. Here comes Ricky Rudd after him, Keith. Takes a 6 to beat Bill, and a 5-6. And Ricky's only got 4 gas pedals, though, so he don't get her done. And that is it for the top group with Star. Dick Trickle has a chip, but not Star. See if Morgan can get back up here, and he does. Let's see if Mr. Sauter can get up in the middle group. He's out his shots here. No, he can't. How about Kenny Schrader? Kenny barely gets her done. He goes from 21st up to 19th. And now we only got 31 cars running. You got Bill Elliott in the lead. Trickle 2nd. Rudd 3rd. Marlin 4th. Ernie Irvin 5th. Labonte 6th. Shepard 7th. Brett Bodine 8th. Allison 9th. And Jimmy Hensley rounding out the top 10 as we go to turn number 25. And we got a middle group of Smart. Who's Smart back here? Cal Petty's double Smart could get the lead. 5-2-3. Not smart enough to get Ricky. He's going to get a second chance here. And a 6 ain't getting her done. Here comes Wally. A 4. Not getting it done. Ted Musgrave. A 1-4-2. And Ernie holds him off with double Smart. Next up is Rusty trying to get that Pontiac up front in his sponsor's own race. A 1-3-4. And he's going to get Sterling. Go from 14th up to 4th. And the last driver with Smart's Brett Bodine. And a 2-1-6. He's going to get Dick Trickle, but he burns his chip. And we go to turn 26. And we got a middle group of use reflex on the final 5 turns. And it is the final 5 turns. So we got a middle group of reflex. First up is Kenny Schrader. And he's not going nowhere with a 6. Here comes Wally. Not going nowhere with a 5. Here comes the King trying to get back up front. A 3-1-1 ain't happening. Hutch Strickland. A 3-5-5. And he's going to get Terry, go from 13th up to 6th. Here comes Bobby Hamilton in that Country Time Lemonade with a 4. Ain't happening. Jeffrey Bodine, he's been quiet ever since he's been banged around at the beginning of the race. He's got 2 chances, could get the lead. A 5-4-1, no, that ain't working. Second chance. A 2-2-5, and he gets Ricky Keith. And Jeffrey Bodine goes from 11th up to 3rd, knocking Ricky back. Here comes Davey Allison, the last car in the middle group with Reflex. A 4-4-1 ain't happening. And here's our money stop, the last and final pit stop of the race. Turn 27. It's going to be the middle group. And 5 and 4 is going to switch spots. Let's see if these crews back here in the middle can get some cars out of here quickly. Earn some chips to make the final push with 3 turns to go. First up is Kenny Bernstein's crew in that Quaker State. Brett Bodine, they get her done. He gets a chip. Robert Yates in the 28 crew's out there. Needs a 10. They get her done. Jimmy Hensley and Kel Yarborough's Trump Arctic crew. Needs a 6. They don't get it done. Here's Ricky Keith in that Tide machine. They need an 8. And they don't get it done with a 9. Bobby Hamilton needs a 6. He doesn't get it done. These crews ain't coming through. Labonte needs an 8. He gets it with a 7. Here comes Musgrave, needs a 6. He gets it done. Wally needs a 6 in that Jack Roush car. He gets it done. Sterling Marlin needs an 8. Can Junior and the crew get her done? They get her done. The King needs a 5. Oh, the King doesn't get it done. His son needs a 9. Cal Petty. He gets her done. And last but not least is Kenny Schrader. He needs a 7. And he gets it done. So quite a few of them back here come through. After we move everybody around and move them up here, we'll see if anybody can beat that Budweiser Ford out of the pits. A 2-4, and Jeffrey Bodine and Bud Moore gets the lead here from Bill Elliott on turn 27. Jeffrey's run good here at Richmond after being beat around. 3 turns to go, folks. Here's turn 28. We got a top group of trouble. Trouble in the top group. This could end the race, folks. This could end the race, depending on how many cars are involved. All righty, first up is Jeffrey Bodine. He needs a 9 not to wreck. And he does wreck. That's how he got by Bill out of the pits, driving like a nut. Old Jeffrey wrecks. Dick Trickle needs a 6 not to be involved. He escapes. He'll get the lead. How about that? Bill needs a 10 not to be involved. He makes it through. Rusty needs a 10. Rusty makes it through. Hutch Strickland needs an 8. He makes it through. Ernie Irvin needs a 6. He makes it through. So we won't be going to the middle group, folks, and we will only have 1 caution. So we'll have a green-white checker finish with 1 turn to go. Here is Morgan. He needs a 7. And he gets her done. The only car involved in this wreck is Jeffrey Bodine. Let's see if he can get back out on the track. Like I said, it'll be 1 caution turn. That'll take us to the white flag turn. Let's move everybody up and see what happens to Jeffrey here. Gets the lead at Richmond and just ran her too hard into turn 1 and got loose and hit the wall. Yeah, cruel dice is right, Keith. Yep. And yeah, some crazy drivers. And old Jeffrey Bodine, like I say, he's going to put her all out there. Alrighty, he's a C driver. He needs a 5 to stay in this race. And they don't. Jeffrey Bodine has the lead and is going to finish 31st. Alrighty, folks. Like I say, that brings out the caution, and here we go. It'll be a green-white checker. The white flag is out along with the green flag. Both of them's out at the same time. Let's see if Dick Trickle can hold on to win this race. And it's going to be another trouble in the top group. So can Dick Trickle avoid wrecking and win this race? Here we go. Again, Dick needs a 6. No, Dick Trickle. He wrecks. Did Bill put him in a bad spot here or what? Bill needs a 10. And Bill with a 9 is going to win this race. Woo, he barely got past her. Rusty in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac trying to get up there. Needs a 10 to stay in there. He does. Hutch Strickland needs an 8. He makes it through. Ernie Irvin needs a 6. And he doesn't make it through. Ernie's involved in the wreck. If Morgan Shepherd makes it through, we won't be going to the middle group because Brett Bodine's got a chip. So Morgan needs a 7. And he doesn't. We will be going to the middle group, folks. Brett Bodine with a chip needs a 9 not to use it, but it don't matter. He'll use his chip when he gets a 12. But like I say, we will be going to the middle group. Davey and these guys all got chips, so they're all going to make it through. Let's see. We'll just do it for the hell of it. See if they would have need to use their chips. Davey would have had to use his chip. See if Terry would have had to. He needs 11. He didn't have to. We'll move these guys up since we know what's... Well, we better not. I want to see if we got to go to the bottom group. So... Is there 6 cars back here without chips? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So we won't be going to the bottom group because there's only 5 cars without chips. So if all 5 of them is in a wreck, so we can move these guys up. Alrighty, Wally needed an 8 not to use his chip. He's good. Ted Musgrave needs a 9. He's good. Sterling needs an 8. He would have been good and didn't want to need to use his chip. Kyle Petty, he's fine, didn't need to use his chip. And Schrader needs a 5. He would have had to use his chip. Like I say, we only got 5 cars back here that could possibly wreck. And Mr. Hensley needs a 10. He doesn't wreck. Ricky needs a 9 not to wreck. And he barely gets it with a 3-6. Good job by Ricky missing that shit. Here comes Hamilton with a 9. He misses it. And the King needs a 7. Come on, King. And the King makes it through. And the last car in the middle group is going to be Mr. Sauter, needs an 11. And he makes it through. So everybody else will just move up. And of course, they really won't be able to fix the car, but we'll see how long they were sitting in the pits, or if they couldn't fix the car at all, to find out who's going to finish 28th, 29th, and 30th. First up is Shepard. He's an A. He needs a 7 to get her back out there, and he doesn't. So Morgan will finish 30th. Damn shame. I love the Woods brothers. Here in Virginia, wrecking on the last turn. Ernie Irvin, the pole sitter, running up front most of the day. And he's a D. He's going to need a 4 to stay in the race. And he doesn't, so we really don't have to roll for Trickle because he's going to finish 28th no matter what. But let's just see if they could have got the car fixed. And it would have took a 5. And no, they wouldn't have been. Cars was really messed up here. And Bill Elliott is your winner, folks. Awesome, Bill. Oh, exactly, Tim. This is crazy. Yeah, not a bad race, Tim, for Ricky. If you're rooting for Ricky, 13th. At least he didn't get involved in the wreck. So your winner, awesome, Bill from Dawsonville. I don't think he's going to have enough to get the points lead with Allen finishing 33rd. It's going to be close. Where did old Handsome Harry finish at? Handsome Harry finished 26th. Bill might get past him. Like I say, Bill's in third place in the points. He was 100 and some behind, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. It'll be close. Next race, I'll give you guys an update on the points. That Budweiser Ford is in victory lane for the Miller Genuine Draft 400. Old Bill don't want that Miller Genuine Draft case on top of that Ford, but that's what they do. They put that up there. He's drinking a Budweiser, though, in victory lane. But how about this? The Deuce finishes second. What could have been, Wallace says. Not a bad finish for the race sponsor, finishing second, but they don't like finishing second to another beer car. And Hut Strickland with a good race. Hut finishing third in that Chevy. Got a Ford, a Pontiac, and a Chevy all up front. And the first Oldsmobile will be Terry Labonte. Here's Brett Bodine. Great race by Brett. Finishes in the top 5. Davey Allison was like a yo-yo today, but the yo-yo finished up top. Davey finishes in the top 5. Good race for Davey. Texas Terry Labonte gets up there in 6th in that Oldsmobile. Oh, thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. Oh, and thank you too, Keith. Like I say, I appreciate it, guys. I love this game. Definitely my favorite game. I mean, I've been enjoying doing APA. It's probably my second favorite game now, but this is my favorite. I love racing, and this game is crazy. I I can't figure out the right word. I say simple, but I don't know if that's right. It makes it sound like the game ain't that great or something when you call something simple, but as non-complex of a game this is, how stuff works out realistic. I'm not saying every race is down to the T for what happened, but normally cars that run well at certain tracks and drivers that do, it's amazing how close they finish to the real life race in that year. It is nuts. Yeah, exactly. It's an amazing game, is right, Tim. Yep. Yes, it is. Ted Musgrave finishes 8th. Sterling's going to finish 9th. So Junior Johnson's pretty happy. 2 cars in the top 10. That's awesome. 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 And Cal Petty finishes 10th. So one of the Pettys is up front. And Ken Schrader in the 25 just finishes out of the top 10. How about this? Jimmy Hensley, he was up front most of the day. Nice 12th place finish for Jimmy. And here's your man, Keith. Ricky Rudd in the 5 car finishes 13th, lucky number 13. And the 68 of Bobby Hamilton, he's going to finish 14th in the Country Time Lemonade car. And the King, not a bad race. Top 15, barely, but still the 43, 15th. I mean, nothing to write home about, but nothing to cry over. And then, like I say, Sauter in the 89, old Jimmy Sauter finishing 16th. Rick Mass finishing 17th. And how about this? Jimmy Smut Means getting up there. That 52 car. And here's a disappointment. Mark Martin in that 6 car could never get out of the pack. That car just didn't run today. Finishes 19th. Derry Cope, didn't hear much about him today. He finishes 20th. Chad Little made a nice run there for a little bit, but finishes 21st. And little Mikey, he was back here all day. Again, he didn't do much. Had a few opportunities and didn't take advantage of it. And here's a guy we didn't talk too much about, Jimmy Horton in the 32. Dale Jarrett, the same thing, just kind of hung around back here in the back group and couldn't get out of his own way, I guess. And here comes a bunch of disappointing drivers. All had small difficulties here. Earnhardt up front led this race, finishes 25th rather. DW and Harry Gant. He never really got up there to battle for the lead, but he was up there in the middle and top group most of the day, finishes 26th. And poor DW in the 17 car finishes 22nd. Last car still running, folks. Well, I hope you like this race. This was a great race here at Richmond. Back in the day, Richmond always did have great races. Oh, exactly. Yep. Correct, Tim. All righty. I want to thank Tim and Keith for stopping by here at Richmond. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, folks. Hit that bell for reminders. Oh, I'm glad you did, Tim. Yeah, I sure did have a good time bringing it. And on your way out of the Richmond International Raceway, hit that like button. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think of this race in this season. It's coming to a close here. We got, what, six races ago? We got 7 races to go. Yeah, 29 races. We got 7 races to go. You take care too, Tim. Everybody, you all have a great evening and take care. And I'll see you the next time here on the channel.